Hello my friends, I welcome all of you, almost 101,000 star seeds, light workers and wanderers who are helping to raise the planet's vibration, and I welcome you all to this session. And today I have channeled the Pleiadians in order to answer or ask them the queries which were placed on the polls recently. So the first query which I have asked today is regarding how can we activate 100% of our brain capability, because many of you wanted to know how can we do that and is it even possible. And we all know that scientists have said that human beings normally use only 10% of their brain activity. So in this session the Pleiadians have revealed the methods we can use. It's a simple process of attaining 100% activation of our brain complex. Okay, so that's what they said. And the second thing that I have asked in the session is about why is the green comet. So if you had recently seen the astronomical news, they were talking about a green comet which would be visible from the Earth planet. So I have asked about what is the meaning of this comet and why is it here at this time. So they have described why it is here and what it actually means. So there is a spiritual meaning behind this, and you will all understand about that. And the final, not the final, but the second final question which I've asked is about the looking glass event for February. So for all of you who are aware that we are every month doing looking glass events to help the planet, to protect our planet from negative entities. And also the Pleiadians have cleared what did they mean by Earth will stop for 15 days, right? So in the previous session they had said that Earth will pause for 15 days. So they have actually tell us more clearly what that is in the session. And the final thing that I've asked is about a simple method which we can use in order to ascend higher. So this method is like gold. Okay, I'm telling you, I've applied this method and it is amazing. So before the session begins, I want to say thank you to all of you who have joined me on my Patreon, because this month also we have to protect the planet. And if you are desirous of protecting the planet with us together as a community, then you can join on the Patreon. And also thank you to all of you for liking the video. And as the algorithm requires people to like the video, I'm so thankful to all of you, because it helps to reach out to other star seeds, other wanderers at this time. And before the session begins, towards the end, I'm going to open up this beautiful gift which I received. So enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Pleiadians, and we greet you now in love lights of the one infinite creator. And we are now going to address the queries that are present in the mind space of this instrument. In order to answer them, there is a need for inner discernment to be used by all mind, body, and spirit complexes who shall come in contact with this message on the Earth planetary sphere. Furthermore, the discernment is the most vital aspect of life on Earth. As a third density, entity of mind, body, and spirit complex nature, has the free will to accept or reject our thought forms. The first query relates with how can the brain capacity be activated to 100% by the people of your planet. We the Pleiadians must state that before we share our thought forms with this regard. The entities must remember that the message may be a type of distortion which may be misunderstood by many who may not go beyond the vibratory sound complex. Therefore, it is necessary to look at the vibratory sound complex terms as a pointing system towards the truth of which we shall point today through this channeling system. There are many layers that need to be peeled in order to fully unlock the full potential of the brain system of your people. The first one is many mind, body, and spirit complexes on your planet have this misperception that they cannot activate the full potential of their brain complex. And because of this misperception, many entities on the Earth planet block themselves from doing so. Furthermore, this distortion of belief system holds a major key in blocking many entities from achieving their full potential in their incarnation. In addition, as such, they are not able to fully overcome this mental self-programming that prevents them from achieving this goal. There have been many activities that have been achieved by the human mind, body, spirit complexes that were previously thought to be impossible to achieve. The limitations are only present as mental blockages in the form of belief systems that prevent many from achieving their full potential in their incarnation cycle. The human brain complex can only perceive around 109 bits of information per second, as found by your so-called scientists, which means that it is impossible for your brain to be conscious of more than 109 bits of information at the same time. In addition, this is also the reason why many entities on the Earth planet find it difficult to listen to two people having a vibrational exchange of vibratory sound complexes at the same time. We must state that your brain complex has limitations that are prevalent for your planetary sphere. However, there is a type of brain functioning or brain complex functioning that can be activated by the focus of letting go. This means that instead of using only the left brain complex, like many entities usually do, the process of balancing the two brain hemispheres together into a harmonic rhythm activates the brain to enter a secret state of functioning that is capable of allowing both the brain hemispheres to synchronize together. Furthermore, this allows both sides of the brain to communicate much faster and achieve the desired objectives. This state can be activated by focusing on mastery of focus on activating the right side brain activities that are usually shut off during the normal waking life cycle of many mind-body-spirit complexes on the Earth planet. This method requires a focus of attention on the inner silence that can be found when there is no voices or thought forms of vibratory sound complex nature on the brain complex, for example, the words. And these vibratory sound complexes are the main activators of the left hemisphere of the brain complex. Furthermore, by practicing the aspect of maintaining inner silence in the present moment alignment this distortion of excessive activity of the left hemisphere of the brain will shift to the activation of the right side brain hemisphere of the brain complex. This practice will further allow entities to enter into a state similar to the so-called flow state as known by many of your people. Furthermore, once the right hemisphere of the brain gets activated, then the so-called right side brain hemisphere will allow the functioning of the connection to the universal conscious grid of knowledge to begin. Furthermore, from this interconnectedness with the universal knowledge database, it becomes possible for universal consciousness to communicate with each individual conscious entity and allow this type of connection to exist and transfer information to flow. This interconnection with the universal consciousness is the gateway to allow the secret mode or function of the brain complex to open up, allowing for the maximum use of the brain complex activity. This can also be sensed when many of your so-called artists or other creative individuals usually find their experience in the moment of complete silence or during their dream state wherein they are connected to the divine source of all beings and creations that allow them to access the divine energy and get the resource of infinite intelligence to come forth in the form of an idea or a manifestation. This can also be seen when the so-called athletes of your planetary sphere enters the state known as focus or the zone, wherein they are completely in the present moment awareness and hence get access to this divine connection with the cosmic database of all knowledge. We shall now address the second query that relates with the aspect of why a green comet is being seen by the people of the Earth planet after a long time period of around 50,000 years in your space-time. This comet is a symbol of the coming new Earth. In this comet arrives every 50,000 years in your solar system as a reminder of the graduation season that starts in each third density planet after every 75,000 years in the third density cycle. Furthermore, the color of the comet that is green can be associated with the green ray energy center or the heart chakra as known by your people in your vibratory sound complex terms, which signifies the new earth vibratory rhythms of vibration requirements. Furthermore, the next query relates with what is the looking glass event for the month of February 2023. In this regard, we must state that the next looking glass event is to allow entities on the Earth planet to recognize that this is based upon the future projection of the timeline by the looking glass artifact, and as per the timeline shown, there will be a future timeline around the end of February at around 27th February, wherein the reptilians which are present on the Mars planet will try to enter the moon body complex in order to create a matrix hive mind, which will, if successful, create a loop or a time loop that will trap all souls who are engaged into the excessive use of social media platforms as known by your people, and whose focus primarily doesn't remain in the present moment. This distortion will create a system wherein the loop cycle will stop time for 15 days and will allow those entities whose mind complex is attached with the ever-changing focus of attention that is created by the so-called social media systems to realize that this distortion is going to have an effect upon those entities who are present within such systemic use. This will eventually lead to an entrapment of such souls into the time loop, and they will remain in a single timeline forever. If the system is successfully implanted on the moon system by the negatively oriented entities, which is the seat of the reincarnation system for the Earth planet, in order to stop the event, a blanket of love light energy shield can be created during interconnection with intelligent infinity, which will cover the moon body and protect it. In addition, this will stop the occurrence of the event. We shall now share a method that will allow the entities on the Earth planet to ascend at a faster rate at this time-space. Furthermore, this method will require focus of the inner conscious attention that is created by trying to push the awareness out of the bodily complex location. For better understanding, what we mean is to realize that your mind and body are attached with your bodily vehicle, whereas your spiritual essence is, in a way, only attached to the bodily complex to a silver cord, and the bodily complex is the mind complex together unified into one, whereas the spiritual complex has the liberty to change locations at will, which is the usual process that occurs during the dream state. Furthermore, by pushing the conscious sensation of awareness to the opposite location to that of the bodily complex, will allow the shifting of the conscious presence out of the mind-body complex and will shift to the spiritual complex. This will prevent the mind complex, which uses the spiritual awareness to create excessive voices within the entity's life cycle, to come to a halt because of the lack of spiritual conscious presence in the bodily complex and the mind complex. Hence, by separation of the spiritual essence, by keeping it opposite to that of the body and the mind complex, will create this sensation of freedom, which will allow entities who practice this to free themselves from the psychological suffering created by the mind complex, which will allow them to be free from the inner imbalances which are created, to be free from the reactions to the catalysts which are presented from the third density outside world. This type of distortion will eventually allow each entity to realize that the so-called conscious presence will consume all unwanted thoughts and free the self from the attachment with the egoic entity that is created in the mind complex of each individualized entity. A practice of choosing to focus on this awareness point, which may be chosen opposite to that of the current location of the mind-body complex, will allow this practice to become second nature and will lead to the expansion of the inner self into the higher levels of clarity. Furthermore, we the Pleiadians must state that in this space-time, we are of the opinion that the final phase of awakening of the Earth planet into the fourth density New Earth that began at a rapid pace in the year 2020 and is accelerating and is a worldwide phenomenon is happening at a faster degree, and many entities are realizing that the outside world is being manipulated by many of the so-called elites by your people who understand certain laws of the universe, which enables them to have a greater focus on the control of other entities. Furthermore, the awakening has multiplied to a degree of 10 times each year, from 2021 to 2022, and now from 2023. It is dependent on the choices made by each individualized entity to awaken to the truth within the self. Hence we the Pleiadians are always guiding those who shall heed our messages. We'll leave you now in love lights of the One Creator. Bye.
So in today's session, firstly, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of what I learned. Firstly, one of the things which I learned is they said that, to activate 100% of our brain activity, we need to firstly balance our brain hemispheres from the left to the right. They said that, many of us, what we do is we only use the left side of our brain, which is the thinking mind. We are constantly thinking, we are constantly talking with our own self. We are having this self-dialogue. We are thinking, what to do. That's the left brain hemisphere. That's what they said. And when we are not thinking, when we are in the silence, we activate the right side of the brain. So what the Pleiadians said is we need to balance them in order to harmonize them into a harmony. So when they are harmonized like a rhythm is created, we are connected with the universal database of information. And when we are connected with the universal database of information, we have access to so much more. We have access to everything in the universe, and from that we can use that potential to bring forth new ideas, new creative abilities, and even information. So from the session, I remember that's what they said, that many of the scientists or even artists, when they enter the state of zone or the state of focus mind, they are connecting with this source. They're harmonizing their brain. They're harmonizing the left and the right side of the brain. So it connects with this divine consciousness, with this universal grid. And that, is able to allow them to access this universal knowledge, and they're able to have tremendous inventions, abilities, and they're also able to produce wonderful music and even art, which is amazing, right? So I think that's what the Pleiadians said here. And the other thing I remember they said is that the Looking Glass event, right, is basically this month, around 27th of February. The negative entities, they are planning to enter the moon satellite, and they're planning to plant a device, I believe. They're planning to plant a device which is, in a way, I think, trying to control the reincarnation cycle of humanity. So if they are successful, they said that the people who use excessive social media platforms may be trapped in the reincarnation loop, and time may stop completely for 15 days. So I think, that's what they said in the session. And the other thing is we can stop it, so I need to say thank you to all of you, that who joined on the Patreon, because we do meditations every month to help the planet, and we are going to protect this time also. We'll do a meditation on 27th of February. So if you want to join on the meditations, you can join us there. And the other thing is, the final thing that I learned is about a simple method, right? This method is amazing. So what they said is basically, I will give you my understanding. So we have this body, right? This is the physical body. The physical body is, like physical and mind complex, they are one, right? They are together. And then we have something known as the soul, which is able to detach from our body. Every night it detaches and it goes out to experience certain other realities, right? So we can do the same thing here. So what they said is to detach our soul and bring it opposite to where our body is. So right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like focus from this point. I'm trying to look at myself from over here, from my consciousness. Okay, I'm trying to go. I'm here. My body is here, but my soul is over here. So what that means is my awareness is looking at myself from over this point, which is opposite to the body. And I've noticed that when you do that, you actually, there is no voice in the head, and there is it's complete silence. You can enjoy the moment, you can have fun, you feel amazing. So you need to try this method, and I think you'll awaken, you'll enjoy life. There will be no anxiety. There is this, I've noticed that there is this underlying anxiety within us all when we are not doing this. When we are attached with the thought forms, we have this underlying anxiety of doing next thing, of doing more and more. So we need to overcome that, and we can do this by using this method. And the final thing that I want to say is, if you want to know your past life sessions, about your soul's identity, your soul's purpose, and any other questions you may have, you can send me an email. I'll help you out. And I just forgot to open up the gift, which is, I'm like, wow, right? This gift is so amazing. Firstly, this gift is from Milind, who is from California. And I need to say thank you to Milind and his family for sending me this beautiful drone. So it is amazing. I mean, I even flew this drone. It even has a camera. So I was like, the camera is over here. So I even tried to fly this, but I need to practice, it seems, because this thing almost like went up in the air like a UFO, almost disappeared, but somehow it came back. So anyways, I'm so thankful for this, and thank you to all of you who watch the videos as well, who like the videos. And also I want to say thank you to all of you who have got the book version of my sessions. If you want to read in a book format, if that is your style, then you can get it. The link is on the description. And with that being said, I will see you, my friends, in the next session. Until then, enjoy this session over here. Thank you, my friends.